And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. We were off air last week. I was out of town, and we had recorded an episode for last week, and due to some technical difficulties, it didn't happen. That episode, I'm hoping, is going to be airing during the holidays, and if not, we will have it up online because it was a good show with a bunch of different interviews that I got to do with some people around town. But joining me tonight as guest co-host is none other than Chef Jesse Ryder, one of our favorite guest co-hosts.
None other, indeed.
None other. Hey, you know what? It's only appropriate that you're on this episode because this is our 3-year anniversary episode. We have now officially been on the air for 3 years. Yeah, so it's fantastic, and I'm very excited to have you back. Well, you were one of our first guests.
I've been a part of this since the beginning. So, you know.
Yeah, I remember that you sent me an message via Facebook and was basically like, "This is why I should come on your show."
Right.
And you got yourself and Paul Credo on the show, and now both of you are recurring guest co-hosts on the show.
Yep, now we're a problem. Now we're your problem.
No, you're not a problem at all.
I know I
very much enjoy.
That was back when I still used phones and I used Facebook to get in touch with you.
Yeah. So where are you at these days?
I'm still hanging around at Charlie G's. They still keep me around.
About to. Still doing a lot of hunting and fishing?
I more now than ever, really. As a matter of fact, I put such a hurt on the animal kingdom in the last 10 or 12 days that I'm expecting PETA at my door any minute.
Yeah, I saw that you did some Thanksgiving hunting.
Shopping. We call that making groceries where I come from.
Making groceries. Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. Great. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, B. It's good to come.
So last week, instead of doing the radio show, I attended a pop-up dinner series in North Louisiana called the Pineywood Supper Club. It's on
How far north we talking about? Like I-10 or?
It was actually 20 minutes from my grandmother's house. It was in Houghton, Louisiana, at Mahaffey Farms.
Right.
I had some of the farmers from Mahaffey on a show previously. And this one happened to be at the dinner. It was called Glamp Fire.
Okay.
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. There was bonfires. There was a little cigar, pipe tobacco section. There was a whiskey shack.
Yeah.
There was hot toddies, two different kinds of hot toddies. There was bourbon milk punch. Jada Cody was the guest chef, and he roasted a lamb, and there was a lot of yummy
I'm about to
food.
say, you just said things about 5 liquor related.
Right.
And they roasted a lamb.
There was a lot of alcohol at this one. But it's the Pineywood Supper Club. It's on the idea of Runaway Dish, and it's the North Louisiana version. And it's great, and I'm very happy that I got to attend. I'm hoping to attend some other ones in the future.
It sounds like you had a good time.
It was super fun, and the weather was perfect for it. It was nice and cold. I didn't dress as well as I should have because I wasn't expecting the cold snap like we got.
It's not even cold in here, and you were freezing before the show started. So,
but I still should have prepared better. Lamb was great. My favorite dish was he did a roasted carrots with a parsnip puree and goat cheese. I love parsnips.
Me too.
And that was my favorite dish that they did. They did a chai tea hot toddy that I loved, and of course I love the whiskey shack. Now, what I did discover at the dinner was that I like pipe tobacco, and so now I'm officially ready to become a hobbit.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm all about second breakfast,
right?
And eating,
fireworks,
enjoying life. Yeah. So get my pipes, start smoking some pipe tobacco, and we got this.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, my grandmother's in the process of trying to find me some of my grandfather's old pipes so I can start smoking recreationally with the pipe tobacco.
I don't know how many people out there are like gonna advocate you starting smoking, but
Well, it's like the cigars. I mean, I actually liked it better than cigars because I felt like you got
because a cigar is harsh.
You got more of the flavor of the tobacco. There was different blends that they had. There were proprietary blends to the shop in Shreveport that came out, but it was really good. I think we did like Red River blend, I think is what it was called. It was nice. I liked it. Like I felt like you could taste all the flavors to it. So learned something new. And we do have a place here in Lafayette that sells pipe tobacco.
Right, Smoker's
cigars.
Haven.
Yeah, so I'm going to go check it out. And then also, Minden happened to be having their German festival, which is, they call it Fasching Festival. And it's the beginning of the Christmas season. And they had a German food truck there that is from the Shreveport area. It's called Mona's Brats. And they had bratwurst and schnitzel. The schnitzel was amazing. I mean, how can you not love a giant flattened piece of pork deep fried? Right. Then they served it over gravy, fries, and it was covered in a mushroom gravy. How can you not love that? So they had different variations of that, and then they had the bratwurst there too. There was a fish that I discovered that was being served at another vendor that's not German in nature called, I'm sure you're familiar with it, buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo fish. So my dad was going on and on about buffalo fish. I've never heard of this before.
It's a freshwater carp, you know?
Yeah. So, but he said that it's got a lot of bones in it, and you have to be careful how you clean it, and that mainly you like the cheeks, like the collar area,
the cheeks, the collar,
the ribs. I think is what he was saying.
Well, though maybe they might cook the ribs. I know we get it's the collar and like what they have up under their gill plate. They have some big cheek. Yeah, pieces.
They were doing buffalo ribs, so it was the ribs that they were doing.
They get big, so I can imagine.
Yeah, and my dad got them, but he said that they didn't do a good job of getting the bones out because it's a really bony fish, and you have to be real careful with it. But I learned something new of a fish that I never knew existed.
That's one of those, how you call that, a trash fish.
Yes.
But you'd be surprised. I was about to say, you ever smoke some choux pique on the side of the campfire? It come out pretty good.
Yeah. So I still haven't tried it, so I'll have to give it a try. Well, we just had Thanksgiving. Yeah. Did you do a lot of eating for Thanksgiving or a lot of cooking?
I did a lot of cooking and then probably the same amount of eating. Just for me and Mom, it's a bit much to do a turkey. So what I did was I got one of those Maple Leaf Farm, like 5-pound ducks, and I stuffed it. For some reason, my fig tree in my backyard blossomed and bloomed about 3 weeks ago. I know
have been doing
it's amazing.
Late.
So I had 2 or 3 handfuls of figs and so satsumas, and I stuffed them in that duck and I baked it real slow. It was delicious.
Nice.
It was delicious.
It tasted fantastic.
Oh, it was fantastic.
We went to Little Big Cup again. And it's always nice because you can eat until you just about pop. And then you don't have to clean anything up.
Do nothing,
but
right.
the only thing that's bad about it is then later on when you're hungry and you want leftovers,
you gotta go get
have no leftovers.
You see, and there was plenty of leftovers. Mom had never had. I smothered some Brussels sprouts with tasso and onions, and she had never really had that. I mean, of course they did. It's just like cabbage, but I don't know, something about it. It's a little nuttier.
See, I like Brussels sprouts for the holiday. I will eat Brussels sprouts anytime, but something about the holidays, green beans for
me too.
I feel like it's just...
And I'm a mock shoe guy. Anyone that knows me will know I cook mock shoe with just about anything, but...
You have so many carb-heavy, fat-heavy dishes. I'm always like,
a little bit of green
with that. I mean, it could be green bean casserole.
So what if it's smothered in butter and cream of mushrooms?
It's still green, and it's still like in my head. It's
right. It balances out.
And then the following day, I had to work for Black Friday, and we did a potluck because I work in the mall, and it was going to be so crazy. And everyone brought dishes, and all of my coworkers are wonderful cooks. One girl made this fabulous macaroni and cheese. Another girl rolled in a shopping cart full of fried chicken.
Yes, she did.
And I was like, is this my dream? Have I died and gone to heaven? Like, this is my dream right now. I was just like, thank you. Come on in.
You keep on rolling them in.
Please bring it in. And so I basically ate on that until I popped at the end of my work day too. So I didn't get the leftovers Thursday.
Right.
At things on
That's
Friday.
The idea too. It's like literally the food holiday.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we have more with Chef Jesse Ryder. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and joining us tonight as guest co-host is Chef Jesse Ryder. Okay, so we have a football game going on while the radio show is going on, and we actually have a TV in the room.
Why would you rat us out to the people?
Because if anyone makes any loud noises, I just want them to be prepared.
It's an important game.
I'm in the little room. I'm in the recording booth with two men who are really into this football game, and it's just funny. And you were talking to me and then like looking, and
at least I made back eye contact with you. I'm trying to show you some. It is football season and hunting season. To get my attention at all right now is you're a special lady. So
exactly.
There you go.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out. Recently, I discovered that in the cheese section of Whole Foods, they have something called a $5 and under cheese bin.
Right.
And it's where you can get really expensive cheeses, like it's almost like a sampling of the cheeses, but just to taste to see if you like it. So you're not paying $30 for a pound of cheese that you end up not liking.
Because not everything's Havarti.
You can buy $5 worth of that cheese and, decide if you like it from there. Also great for cheese plates.
Right. Like
perfect portions for cheese plates. We went and picked some up this past weekend, and my boyfriend got it. It was he got a goat milk, a sheep's, and a cow's, and they were all fabulous.
Awesome.
He did a wonderful job with them. I did my best not to eat them all today. But we were kind of like snacking on it, but it's like the perfect snack size too.
Right.
And I thought that every piece was $5, but it's under.
5 and under.
So two of the pieces that he got, like one was like $1.48, and if you would have bought a pound of that cheese, it would have been like $30.
Right.
So it was really nice to kind of, like I said, perfect holiday season. If you're making cheese plates and entertaining with that, perfect to go over there and check that out.
That's awesome.
So you like Havarti? Because I'm not a fan of Havarti.
I'm a huge fan of Havarti. I love it.
Yeah. We're going to have Alan Lee on the show in a few weeks, and we're going to be talking cheese. One of my favorite topics.
Right.
One of my favorite things to talk about.
It's my passion and my demise at the same time, being lactose intolerant and all, but it doesn't stop me.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Also, Taco Sisters announced that they're going to be opening a second location further down Johnson Street, closer to the south side. They're going to be taking over. It was a Burger King, and then it was a Formosa Garden, a Chinese restaurant.
Right.
And it's across from Social and LaFonda's.
It's right by the little Maytag place, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm super stoked about it because it's closer to me. And it'll be a little probably easier to get in and out of because it'll be bigger.
Right.
Maybe
have that better traffic flow there.
Maybe they'll do some dinner items since they're in a bigger location. I'm just excited. I love their breakfast.
Right.
Like I hardly get to eat there for lunch. They have great lunch items too, but their breakfast is just so good. And then the truck has something called, I think it's called Dirty Dip. And it's like a bean. It's just like a bean dip. And I'm obsessed with it. It's fabulous. Do you get to eat much Taco Sisters?
I've had their breakfast a couple of times, but I've never had the lunch there. That used to be one of our hangover breakfast places.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you live close to it?
No, but we had to drive by to go to work.
Oh, there you go. So if you've been listening to the show, you know I've been in this process of making kimchi and how terrified I was of making it. Well, the 2 weeks are up. It was ready to be sampled, and it was okay. I say interesting, but I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. I mean that it was just a lot of flavors going on. So you got salt, spicy, fish. It was a little too chunky. And I've kind of just been letting people sample it. So Jesse tried it out today.
It wasn't, poisonous or deadly or anything like that.
I didn't kill anyone,
I don't feel
which
sick.
is the most important part. I did not kill anyone.
I felt like your flavor profile was really well,
it was just too salty.
Put together. It's just the salt, right? And that could be the type of fish sauce you used. I don't know, but that salt kick right at the beginning.
Now
I took a bite of kimchi. I didn't put it on anything. It wasn't mixed with it. It wasn't. So like just as it was just really pretty salty. But Once you got past that, it just had the right amount of heat and just a nice pickled flavor, and it was really, really good. And the vegetables were a little big.
Yeah, you said how did you say perfect? Somebody who's never worked in a kitchen.
It was a good example of you never worked in a professional kitchen because they make you. We have to cut everything for bite-sized portions.
Yeah, I was today when I had it on. I did eggs and rice for breakfast.
I was about to say I'd have poured that over some eggs and rice, and I wouldn't have salted nothing, and it would have been great.
Yeah, and I think I did salt the eggs, so maybe that was a little bit too much.
Pooh.
But that's kind of what I wanted it for. But I found the turnips to be a little too big.
They had some bite to them.
Bite.
You know, they were still pretty stout though.
Yeah.
You know? I think if you'd have cut them a little smaller, they'd have been a little more tender, and they might have absorbed a little bit more of the salt because the salt was really on the outer layer.
Yeah.
But for a first try, I give you a B+. You know,
Ooh, I get a B+. So I'm gonna have Paul Credo and Tony.
Listen, Tony Dan,
because Tony makes kimchi.
Tony Dan makes great kimchi, from what I understand. Oh yeah, he's gonna cut your throat. It'll be terrible.
I'm kind of scared to
Paulie's kind of, he acts tough, but he's kind of a cream puff. He'll probably be pretty nice to you about it.
Paul, I feel like is gonna give me the critique that you.
I would say the benefit of the doubt is what we give you. You know.
And I told him, I said, look, I really want Tony to try it, but
I'm not an expert on it either.
Cannot laugh at me. Yeah, you said you really don't like kimchi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm weird about pickled things in general. You know, but not so weird that I won't take a bite of it and let you know.
Yeah. So I'm going to let them check it out to see. Speaking of tough critics, last night I had this brilliant idea of making turnip, like cream turnips almost. So like turnips, mashed potatoes. But I know the turnips have a bite like parsnips do. But I know that they do put parsnips in mashed potatoes a lot to kind of give it a little bit of a bite, but not like too much bite. Well, I made the mistake of not putting enough potatoes to balance it out. And you want to talk about harsh critics? The kids like tore me one.
This is too bitter.
No, that's not even what she said. The oldest flat out said, "This is disgusting. This is disgusting. This is horrible. This is gross." They all hated it. I added cheese to it. They ate it a little bit better that way, but it was my fault. I fully admit it had a lot of bite still to it, and I should have added more potatoes.
Listen, that's how my grandmother used to cheat to get me to eat turnips, was to like mix it in with potatoes. And then after a while, now I rather it on the kind of turnip heavy side, but I cheat. I douse it full of cream and butter and salt. It's the most lavish thing you can eat, you know. It's not bad to saute some like onions and throw some green peas and mix all that in there. Especially if you're trying with the kids.
I don't like green peas, so that wouldn't have flown with me.
What are you?
Yeah, don't like green peas.
How do you not like sweet peas?
Don't like them. Don't like them. Maybe because I grew up on them.
Communist.
It reminds me of Christmas, and we have 8 potato salads and English sweet peas. And that's why I don't like sweet peas. I just don't like, even in like pot pie. Don't like it.
Oh my gosh!
I added a whole stick of butter to this cream turnip, and then a splash of cream.
Yeah, maybe a splash or 2 of cream. You know?
But so when we make it into leftovers tomorrow night,
might add you a little potato.
Add more potatoes to it. And I promised the kids, because we're planning our Christmas meal with the kids, I promised them that the mashed potatoes would not taste like this. I also tried to convince them. We told them that the squash chowder that I made was potato soup, and they didn't like it because it was too spicy, because I did put some of the kimchi in it.
Why are you trying to feed the kids kimchi?
Well, originally we were not going to feed the kids the soup, but when we were eating it, we were like, this tastes like potato soup, because it did. And it tasted like potato soup. So I said, hey, you can feed this to the kids for lunch. And, you know, his son has gluten and corn allergies.
Right.
The original recipe, it was a summer squash, which normally you don't see summer squash in a soup. But I found a recipe that was summer squash and corn chowder. Originally, I was going to make it with a corn. Then I decided not to. And I was like, oh, this way his son can eat it.
Right.
Now it's completely gluten-free, and, you know, there's no corn in it. And it turned out really good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love squash.
Added cumin to it, too. cumin and squash
are wonderful.
Match made in heaven. I was like, this is great. I'm need to be cooking more with cumin.
I like butternut squash and tasso and cumin and onions in a soup. Like that's.
I think next time I'll put some ginger too. Like I feel like that would have been good too. But anyway, we told the kids that it was potato soup. I did add a scoop of kimchi because I was trying to get it a little spicy, and they didn't like it because it was too spicy. Yeah, I'm failing with the kids. I feel like, I mean, they're the harshest critics ever.
I know, but you got to, like, it's crazy because, as a chef, you want to serve everybody, foie gras and, some kind of turnip foam. And you got to realize that as a child wants to eat cheese pizza and chicken nuggets and French fries, not because of any other, but that's just what they crave, They don't want.
Well, we've talked about this a lot on the show, that they have different palates than we do. But at the same time, I'm trying to get them with vegetables. Like I have an appreciation for hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza.
Right.
And if they're getting that 98% of the time, 2% of the time, they can try a new vegetable.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I always say my parents were spoiled because you would eat anything? No, not anything. I wanted vegetables, and I wanted to eat mustard greens and watermelon and corn, and, I wanted to eat pears. I mean, I like candy and all that stuff too, but it was not hard for them to get me to try something new. I don't recommend squirrel brains, but just about everything else they made me try, I enjoy now as an adult, and I did like when I was a kid. So,
speaking of squirrel brains, since you just brought this up, when I went to North Louisiana, my uncle shot 2 deer while we were up there, and I got to watch them butcher it, and I haven't watched them butcher since I was a kid, so I was really fascinated. I was really into it, and I was asking a lot of questions. Like, for instance, I found out he could tell the age
from the teeth.
The buck. No, he found it by the chest, like how hard the chest plate was, because the chest plate was really hard, so he said this was an older one. But they kind of took the organs out in one swoop.
Yeah.
Like, it was really super easy. I was fascinated about how big the organs were. Like, I was expecting them to be smaller. But I was also asked him if people could eat the organ meats like they do pig
I eat
and
the
cow.
heart, for
and
sure.
He said, yeah. He's like, yeah,
and
people
kidney.
do. He said, but I don't eat them. Do you...
Okay.
Do you eat the organ meats?
Let me tell you about how deer heart is my single favorite.
And
I've
right
said this
after
to
that,
you.
Another chef
The heart is
did some fried heart. He did
fried
backstrap and heart.
is awesome too, but I love it. I like to slice it thin and just marinate it. You cook it medium rare on an open pit, and then you talking about heaven. It's wonderful. It's velvety. It's got this. It's almost got this liver texture to it, is where it's like kind of stiff. Once you break through the membrane, it's very creamy and it's super rich. It's irony, but not overpowering. And like I said, it's got this velvet texture. It's just, it attacks all the parts of your senses that are related to like taste and smell. You got to think about the fat around the heart is like the most like indulged fat. I mean, it's the cream of the crop of the fat.
Can you eat the liver too?
I never have.
Because I'm wondering.
I'm sure
how
you can
tastes.
eat all that. I mean, I know they cook the liver and the lungs and the kidneys in the bouillie, in deer bouillie, and I've never eaten that, but I know they do it. So
okay, so the trick to cooking the heart is just to marinate it.
No, because it makes a wonderful gravy.
Okay.
Makes an outstanding smothered gravy. You throw the heart in.
The other chef was saying that you just have to treat it a little.
You have to treat it. It's kind of like one of those things where like you either have to treat it, like marinate it and do stuff to it, or you take it right out the deer and cook it right there.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you let it rest into rigor mortis and then to the other resting stages, you usually have to do something to it, or it'll be a little tough. That still tastes great, though,
Okay, so I'm going to be the crazy person that next time I go up there, and if he happens to get another deer,
if I hadn't eaten mine the other day, I would have brought it to you.
I'm digging in the blood and guts and get the heart out, and I'm going to run into my grandmother's kitchen and like start marinating.
You get her black pan out. You put a little bit of grease in it. Salt and pepper, red wine vinegar. And you just
try to do the liver too.
Try to do the liver too. I'm not a fan of the liver, so I never really.
I was tempted to do it, but then I also was kind of just
beef liver creeps me out. It tastes like you sucking on a copper penny.
Okay, but I like beef liver. So if I like beef liver, then this might be okay.
If you like beef liver, you're gonna love deer heart.
Okay, well then that's good to know. Also, a great tip, and I actually used it when Ann Falgout came on the show a few weeks ago. She was talking about using old beer as a meat tenderizer.
For sure.
I did that with some of the backstrap. Oh, that was fabulous. I highly recommend using old beer to marinate game meat because it got
milk
really
is also
tender.
another one that people don't realize, but something about the lactic acid in it does great things to it.
Interesting. All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Chef Jesse Ryder. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL.
And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and joining as guest co-host tonight is Chef Jesse Ryder, who would like to give a shout out to somebody.
Yeah, some really, really great friends of mine got married a couple nights ago, and Chris and Cassandra Castile, I want to tell y'all how much I love y'all, and I couldn't make it out there, but I hope y'all have just all the luck in the world. So thank you.
That's so sweet. I feel like the topic headline for this tonight's show would be how to cook your wild game organ meats.
That's not such a bad thing. I wanted to tell you about how for Thanksgiving, when I cooked the duck for Mom, I had a bunch of hearts and gizzards from some other ducks I had killed.
See, now that I love. Like, I've had a lot of chicken heart.
Yeah.
And my mom loves the gizzards. I'm not a fan of the gizzards.
They're awesome. Well, what I did was the whole time I was roasting the duck, I kept taking the pan drippings from that, and I browned an onion in the duck pan drippings, and then I browned the hearts and the gizzards, and that was our gravy for our dressing and stuff. So, it was
nice.
It was good. But yeah. The more things you can kill, you got to think. The brain is not really desirable, but man, the heart is my favorite cut of meat on any animal, typically.
Good to know. Since we're still in the holiday season, for Christmas, we're going to be cooking, and we decided we were going to do a turkey roll, and we're going to go ahead and wrap it in bacon. I was going to purchase one from the store.
Don't do that.
And then one of the doctors that I work for was like, "Oh, it's so easy to make it yourself." And I turned around and I was like, "Really, is it?" And my coworker who works in the office with me went to culinary school, and she was like, "Hold up. Don't say it's easy. We had to do it in culinary school. It took like 2 hours." Like, she was like, it took a really long time to learn how to do it.
Your friend is making a big deal out of nothing.
He said, "No." He said, "Yeah, maybe your first time it does take you a while. But after you learn how to do it, it's super easy. One turkey will get you 2 turkey rolls," which I didn't know either. So I was like, okay, that's good to know.
Right.
And so I decided to ask Chef Paul Credo, who is very versed in all things butchery.
Truth.
To teach me how to debone a turkey. This may be on film. It may not. I told him, regardless of if it's on film or not, I need to learn how to do it because this is what we're having.
If you get the camera, I will come and film it.
This is what we're having for a Christmas meal. But I'm buying 2 turkeys, like one for him to do as he's teaching me how to do it. And now we can pretty much stuff it any way that we want to.
Right. My thing is like you have more cooking experience right now than your friend did when she went to culinary school. You got to think about it like that. You're so much farther ahead of the game than she would have been at that point in her career. You just got to think about it. It's just big chicken, babe.
So the takeaway from that too is I was having the conversation with the doctor that was telling me. So it said, "Oh, well, once I learn how to do a turkey, I can basically do a chicken too." But he was telling me that a chicken is harder because it's smaller.
Were you talking about deboning or just like when you deboned the breast to make a turkey roll? You're talking about like 5 cuts. You're just feeling it out.
I feel like it's completely boneless.
Yeah, That's what I'm saying. It's not a really hard thing. All you basically do is you come down the center rib part, and then you come around that cage, and you pull it off, and then it's filleting the inside part of it to where it'll roll up correctly. That's the difficult part.
Okay.
And Paulie's going to show you 3 cuts, and you'll be like, oh, I get it. But when you're like 19 years old and you're in, culinary school and you're overwhelmed by the sun coming up in the morning, that looks like some kind of turkey puzzle that someone dumped out on your kitchen table that you have to figure out. And it's really not that.
I'm a little scared, but I want to learn. Like butchering animals
Well,
is very fascinating to me.
If you're
and
scared, you got the
wanted-
right guy, because Paulie's gonna.
I know. I was like, I'm going to the best to teach me how to do this. But so mine, I'm wrapping in bacon. I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna stuff it with. I'm thinking that I'm just gonna do the
bell
Trinity.
peppers and onions.
and garlic.
Don't.
I'm also thinking, because whenever I used to cook a turkey, I would inject it with the Creole butter.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I may put some of the Creole butter in the middle too, inject it, then wrap it in the bacon.
I was gonna suggest you to inject it. So you know.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm also thinking of doing one with boudin because Paul makes good boudin, and maybe doing one with that. But I mean, he was like, you can pretty much stuff it with
whatever
anything.
you want.
I was also thinking maybe I have so much satsumas.
I was about to say orange peels, man.
Yeah, something with satsumas. And I'm hoping to take this knowledge and then be able to do it with chickens.
Yeah.
But
chicken breasts, they don't poke out as much, so they don't make as good of a roll, you know? It's not quite the same diameter, but you'll still be able to debone it. If you spend 2 hours with Paulie deboning a turkey, it's because somebody came in and robbed you all for an hour and 45 minutes.
I don't know. I'm interested to see. I'm pumped. I'm ready. And if it's as easy as it, because they used to sell the turkey rolls at work. This guy was selling them, and the doctor that brought up the whole conversation was like, well, I'm the one who taught him how to do that. So I was like, wait, you know how to do this? And he was like, oh, it's so easy. Then he starts telling me that I need certain knives that I'm not sure that I have now.
You need a boning knife.
Okay,
or a fillet knife, you know?
Okay, so I have that.
You'll be
so I'm
fine.
Good.
He probably wants you to have some kind of rubber-handled something. He probably doesn't understand that you got an old smoky wooden handle knife and you with an angled blade. You'll be fine.
Okay, good. That's good to know. I'm really excited and pumped about this.
And if you don't have the knife, Paulie's got two, and he'll let you borrow one.
Yeah, and I figured that too. Like, especially if I go and we're using his restaurant's kitchen to do it.
You can do it with a pocket knife if you have to, you know?
Okay, I don't think I'm that cool. I'm sure Paul can, but I don't think I'm that cool to be able to do that.
It's all the same thing.
Then people would be like, yes, really film that if she's trying to.
I don't know. Maybe we should film you trying to do it with a pocket knife. We
Let's
might be able to get some hits on YouTube with that.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Chef Jesse Ryder. So come back to us. It's Lafayette Food Junkie Show on Newstalk 96.5 KPEL. Show on Newstalk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and we've been talking with Chef Jesse Ryder. We got a shout out from my dad during the break. He said he loved Jesse, and it was a good show. So thanks, Dad, my number one fan. Always count on him for listening. I love it.
Yeah, I think Mom and Pops are supposed to be listening out in the country too for me, but you know they get caught up in things.
You were saying that you had some good boudin from Ville Platte today.
Because I have because the best boudin
is from Ville Platte. Smoked meat capital.
I'll argue almost to fighting with anyone in the street. But yeah, I went to Shops in Ville Platte, which is on the Chico Park Road, and that's some cousins of mine. But I'm not how you say particular to them because they're my cousins or whatnot. But they had some really nice boudin there this morning. Their cracklings are really, really good. I personally prefer Paul's boudin in Ville Platte, but the cracklings there at Shops were really good.
There's
too.
a place around there that has buffalo flavored cracklings.
Yes, I don't know where.
Yeah,
I want to say maybe T-Boys. I don't know.
Maybe so. I need to go to this T-Boys one day.
I can't understand how much time you spend with us and you don't come visit us.
No,
I
need to do.
If the food was no good, I understand because the people are kind of not really worth it out there. But the food is awesome. So
I need to do an Evangeline Parish tour. I think you need to be my tour guide.
Maybe not guide, but I'll come along with you. If I'm your guide, we're only gonna go to like Miller's Lake or the Jack Miller's Barbecue Sauce Factory. We'll probably go check out the Luann Cooking Oil Factory. You know, there's not too much going on out there, but we will hit T-Boys and Paul's and, it's not Danny's anymore, but the Quick Stop. And, you know, there's some places to eat out there.
To check out. Okay.
The
So
Mamu Superette.
In food topics around the world, naked restaurants are becoming a pop-up trend. They had one recently in Australia and then some in London. I'm wondering if this trend would make it to the United States, and would you eat at or want to cook in a naked restaurant?
I cook naked all the time.
Okay, so
that's not nothing
let's
new.
say that the kitchen is not naked, but the patrons
Well, yeah, no,
are
you'd never be able to,
naked.
you know what I'm saying? I would never cook naked next to somebody. I wouldn't trust them not to burn me. But I don't think that'll work around here. They let the newscasters get naked over there in other parts of the world. And over here, you know, you can't even wear short shorts to school.
This is not a trend I'm down for, because
we're too ugly in America. Not a lot of pretty people in America. You know, we're all fat and ugly. Nobody wants to see each other naked over here.
I feel like this is nothing to enhance the food experience,
right?
But just to be kind of gimmicky.
Do you want me to serve you food naked?
No.
Look at me.
I don't want to eat food naked in a restaurant with other people. No go for me.
I don't think that would be the point of that.
Right. So, okay. I have been hearing about this show, but I have not seen it yet. But Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart have combined forces and have a show that is apparently doing great.
Well, yeah, they just legalized the recreational use of marijuana in California. So I guess they just getting high and cooking food on film, you know.
Is that really what the premise of the show is?
I don't know. I live in a cave, so I don't really get to watch things like that, you know, but
I haven't watched it yet, but I've been really wanting to watch it.
I'm sure it's hilarious.
So they came together. They hosted, I want to say, like an MTV, like they gave an award together.
Right.
In the past, and they like hit it off.
I'm sure. I bet you Martha's a really down lady, you know?
It makes sense to me. They've both done time.
I was about to say, she's been in the pen.
Time. So, you know, they're the odd couple that we need right now.
True.
America needs
Make
this odd
America
couple.
great again, right?
Yeah. So I need to check out the show. And if anyone has seen it and loves it and thinks it's great, please email me at lafayettefoodjunkie@gmail.com and let me know all about it, because I need to check this out. It's almost New Year's Eve, and with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day comes a lot of hangovers. It's a big drinking holiday. So we found this article on Eater that has different hangover recipes through the years. And some of the early ones were hanging a garland of different roots and plants around your neck. You could also cast a spell. I wonder how many times that worked.
Right.
And then also cabbage was used as a hangover remedy, which I'm wondering. I know that you eat cabbage for New Year's Day. Yeah,
there's a lot of water.
That had to do with it too.
There's a lot of water in cabbage. Now I'm gonna run down some of the Cajun remedies for you. You know, to kind of count it. Instead of casting a spell, we like to go out and cast a line. So try to catch a redfish or maybe a few specks. That helps with the hangover. You know, instead of wearing some roots around our necks, we like to wear duck calls, comme ça.
Yeah.
And you go out to the blind and you put some decoys out. You shoot a couple mallards. That helps. It takes the headache right away. And then as far as the cabbage, yeah, we still eat cabbage.
Yeah. That was great. How does rabbit dung tea, which was also a remedy?
It depends what the rabbit's been eating. We got them rabbits out the rice field or out the swamp, because one way or the other, that'll change the way the tea brews.
Right.
Yikes.
So current day hangover cures are brunch. They say that's the popularity of brunch.
Well, because
and I have to say, like a big greasy fattening meal a night after, like give me Waffle House, smothered, covered, everything on.
I like the orange juice egg biscuit combo. Like when I get those three together, something about the like bacon or meat's usually too much for me in the morning. But like you get that nice, you know, super runny egg on a biscuit and a little glass of OJ. Yeah.
It goes. That's what you like. I like boudin. Boudin's always good. A pepper jack.
Boudin and a boiled egg. That'll go a long way too when you're hungover.
Also, I mean, drink a lot of water. I drink
what
a
if
lot
you
of
can't
water.
drink? I mean, I know you.
Like drinking a lot of water and a Tylenol, and that always helps.
I find the Tylenol and water usually helps as a preemptive the night before. You drop one of them aspirins and a little half bottle of water before you go to bed, you feel a lot better in the morning.
You need to drink like a gallon.
Oh, well, you just don't drink enough anymore.
Well, I mean, come on. I've had the nights where I woke up and, you know, felt it the next day. That's when the hearty meal comes in handy for those nice. I also really like Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, you know,
A night after drinking. That's also a wonderful hangover.
if we only
cure
had
for
some,
me.
I wonder if Taco Sisters will start staying open late for us so we can quit
me
eating
too.
Taco
It'll be
Bell.
our alternative to Taco Bell, so we can
Because
have
we all
gourmet
hate it, but we
tacos.
all love it. You know, everyone does. God, I hate Taco Bell, but man, I love it. And it's like, well, why do we do this to ourselves?
So I talked about on an episode a few weeks ago about a local ice creamery in Baton Rouge area, and they had a flavor that was cornbread and milk, basically. It was
What was
cornbread
it?
and cream. I'm blanking on the name of the
Cornbread?
creamery. Yeah, but that was the flavor. And we found an article about all these crazy ice cream flavors that are coming out now, like bacon, foie gras. What would be the craziest thing that you would eat in ice cream form?
Okay, so I saw someone making a cauliflower ice cream not too long ago on one of those really progressive food shows, and I thought that was the most disgusting thing that I had seen in some time. But I like the bacon and peanut butters that they do. I like the sweet and savories a lot. I hate mint chocolate ice cream, so you know that to me that's a weird enough flavor as it is. But
I've had foie gras in ice cream form before, and it was pretty great. And I'm always like, savory. That's
well,
not
it's like
good.
eating butter pecan ice
and
cream.
I've had cheddar cheese ice cream too, and it was really good.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I would be open. Maybe not peas. I wouldn't try English peas ice cream, but maybe,
How you can't eat something that's called a petit pois? I mean,
maybe not like vegetable ice cream.
yeah. Well,
but
that goes with the cauliflower thing. But I would
definitely-
totally eat carrot ice cream.
yeah,
Oh hell.
carrot.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
okay, carrot's kind of sweet,
But
so
it's sweet,
butternut
you know. Or like if
squash-
you try to tell me you
yeah.
wouldn't do like butternut squash and carrot and parsnip ice cream.
Okay, yeah. So that, but not the cauliflower, not green beans.
No, not green beans.
Not Brussels sprouts.
No, it's because
not
they taste like
spinach.
fart.
Yes,
But-
not stuff like that, but anything kind of meaty texture like foie gras.
Yeah.
It's kind of like butter.
I would totally
buttery
eat
ice cream.
cracklins in ice cream.
Yes. Ooh, I bet that would be.
I bet you if you had some
interesting-
spicy, salty crack, like some really cayenne and salty cracklins, you crumble that on top of some like a banana split flavored ice cream. I bet that'd be insane good.
I'm thinking that would be a really interesting flavor profile.
Yeah.
With the cracklin.
I
in it,
agree.
too. I think that's definitely an interesting one.
I have an ice cream maker.
Let's go.
I'm saying,
let's start this.
I got a big black pot and an ice cream maker. Let's get some pork belly. Come on.
We should just have a kitchen day. We should go take over Paul's kitchen. We'll be like, we're experimenting, and we'll just do all the experimenting there. I mean, we've been making cheese at home. I've been pickling everything. Let's just continue the trend. Let's see
I'm
what
all
else
about it.
comes out of this crazy mind of ours.
If you want to make crackling ice cream sometime in the next couple weeks, all you have to do is let me know.
Okay, wait. So what other flavor? Because you can't just have crackling.
Well,
you need another
what we would
flavor
need to do,
component
we
to
would
it.
probably need to make some kind of
Like a
like.
sweet?
Oh yeah, I would go
Like
with
a
like
syrup?
some
So it's almost
pecan
like-
toffee.
Okay, well, you know how you
I would
have
put- I would
boudin
put,
with
like-
syrup on it?
I would like to.
So-
I would think toffee and crackling.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
But see, okay, so I think if you have toffee in it, though, it's going to have too much of a texture.
Nah.
So I feel like it has to be smooth. So maybe like
You
caramel.
want caramel?
Yeah.
You can do caramel.
So like a smooth, like caramel. And then, is Ben and Jerry's listening to this
Nobody's
right now?
listening.
We're-
Nobody's listening to our ice cream pipe dreams.
Yeah.
Anything else maybe, but I
We
mean,
just created the best Cajun flavor of ice cream
well, good.
ever.
Listen, now all you
Let's
need. I was
trademark
about to say,
that.
now all you need to do is create a name and let me. And you we'll try it out a couple times. We got a good tester right here in the corner. I'm sure Ben will eat ice cream till he's blue in the face. Oh well,
yeah,
no
he said
kimchi
he won't,
though.
won't touch the kimchi. Yeah, that would not make a good ice cream. Kimchi would not make a good ice cream.
Agreed.
Agreed. I haven't. Okay, so what kind of ice cream do you like? Like just regular flavors?
I like berries and cream. I like
Really?
strawberry, like not.
You like a sherbet?
I don't like strawberry, like the pink strawberry ice cream. I like vanilla with strawberries in it. I like vanilla with cherries in it. I like vanilla with blue. I do like cookies and cream.
Okay, so I love cookies and cream. My favorite is when you get the whole cookie.
Yeah.
That's the
Of
favorite.
course.
And I kind of just eat that out.
Well, they're great. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, there's that, and then but after I like Neapolitan, but if it's the Neapolitan with the strawberry, like in the strawberries. Like if it's strawberry flavored with the real strawberries in it, it's got to be. I'm picky about my Neapolitan. I am playing with it. You know why? Because it's delicious, just like that.
Just regular old plain Jane ice cream.
I like birthday cake ice cream. Is that good enough for you?
Okay, that's a little fancier.
What do you got?
I like the pumpkin cheesecake, Ben and Jerry's. I'm a Ben and Jerry's girl, so I like the craziness.
I like their cherry Garcia with the chocolate covered cherries, but it's just okay for $5 a pint. Get out of here. But get me some Bluebell.
Jesse, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
I love coming and I love you.
You never know what's going to come out of your mouth, and we love that about you.
Look, this is the most fun I had all month. So.
All right, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This has been Tiffiany Decou on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.